Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickerson from Dubbo Regional Council.
$93.5 Triple M. It is Jodi and Matho for breakfast on Wednesday, Joe. We speak to the people in government that affect our lives, essentially.
Yeah, the people in politics.
That's right. And local politics is all politics. And we've got the Mayor of Dubbo, Matthew Dickerson. Matthew, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Matho. Good morning, Jodi. How are you going?
Yeah, we're doing really good, thank you.
Now, I saw a little article in the Daily Liberal this morning. I thought I'd ask you about it again, about the sale yards. People getting confused out there about what is actually happening. Can you clear it up?
There's lots of things. Actually, I like the articles that I write to just create some discussion. Some people say I stir up things with them, but that's the whole idea, I think, of good debate is create some discussion. One of the things that's been interesting I've found in the whole debate is that some people have said that councillors have already made their minds up. They've already decided to sell. And there's a couple of things that's important that I want to just address on that, Matho. The first is that if any councillor walks into a council meeting with a predetermined position, if any councillor's already made up their mind, it's actually a breach of our Code of Conduct policy. And if you want to get into detail, you can go and read sections 3.4, 3.15 and 8.7, and they talk about the fact that you need to have all the information and need to have the information on hand and consider all of that before you make any decision. In other words, you can't go and make a decision before a council meeting. And in fact, we've got a workshop this Thursday, the first time that myself or fellow councillors will see any of the EOIs that have been submitted will be this Thursday. I haven't even seen them yet, so there's no way that I could make a decision, and I don't know how any other councillor could have made a decision already when we haven't even seen the EOIs. Who knows, Matho, you might have put an offer in to buy the sale yards for $500 million. Gee, that's pretty attractive. How could I say no to that? But you might have made an offer for $50, and I'm probably going to say no to that. So until we get the information, we can't really make any decisions about that.
Has there been a lot of EOIs formally submitted? Can you tell us that?
I can't even tell you that information yet because, again, I haven't even seen the EOIs that have come in yet. I'll know more on Thursday night when we have our workshop where all that information will be presented to councillors. But I don't know whether we've got 2, 3 or 20.
When will you make a formal kind of decision on it? Obviously, you have the EOIs, but then do you know where the time span will be for that formal decision?
So the 27th of June, Jodi, there'll be some decision made. Now, it won't necessarily be a decision to say, oh, yes, we're going to sell the sale yards to Billy Bloggs, but because we've got 3 broad areas. So one area is we would continue to run it ourselves, but we'd have to change the operating model, or we would lease it out to an organisation, or we would sell it. Those 3 broad areas have more detail associated with them. So the idea of the EOI was that's a general process to give us some direction. Now, we consider it all as an example, and I'm not saying this will happen, but as an example, if councils decided that leasing the sale yards was the best option, we might go out to a more specific tender with the information that we have, because we might receive a few tenders and we say, well, that's not bad, but gee, we think if we went out and actually made the decision to lease it out, we might get even more interest and we might get an even better price. But we know we've got these prices already to start with. So we could make a decision on the 27th of June at that council meeting to definitely go one direction and say, yes, we'll sell it to Billy Bloggs or we'll lease it to Jane Bloggs. Or we could say, now we've got this information, let's go further. But there'll be some definite direction at the council meeting on Thursday, the June council meeting.
Yeah, the Bloggs family of Dubbo seem to be into a lot of things.
They do, don't they? You're not related to them, are you?
No, they seem to have a lot of money though. Now, tell us about Barden Park. Apparently, for some reason, Jodi's got a lycra on. She's about to go for a run.
Absolutely. And the good news is if Jodi breaks a world record in her running, which, I'm backing her in to do that, then it will be ratified because we've just had Barden Park resurfaced. The last state government gave us $1.06 million to resurface Barden Park. That was first built back in 2014. We had Rob D. Costello here in November 2014 for the official opening. And so about every 10 years, we need to resurface that to keep that as an international standard track, to make sure that's ratified. People break records in there, whatever records they might break, or just in competition, just basically being able to say, well, I ran on a international standard track, then my time is comparable to that time you ran at Homebush, for example. So that's now been resurfaced, back up and opening again, and just in time, I must say, because the winter school carnivals are in action now as we speak. I think we have in the vicinity of 30 or more school carnivals over the winter period, and that's just the school carnivals. Then there's other regional and little athletics carnivals that run there as well. It's a well-utilised facility.
Well, yeah, it's fantastic for Dubbo, fantastic for Barden Park there, and for people that get around and run.
Yeah, fantastic for
Good on
me.
them. I don't
All
know
my
those
running.
people. Yeah.
It's going to be great.
We're not in the same circle of friends, of course, because they're outside people. I'm an inside person. But Mayor of Dubbo, Matthew Dickinson, thank you so much for joining us and clearing that up about the sale yards and letting us know the good news about Barden Park. And we'll talk in a couple of weeks.
Right, and don't forget, get along to Western Plains Cultural Centre. Waste to Art has now been opened.
Yes, fantastic.
Of course.
Yeah, I've heard fantastic things about it. Thank you so much, Matthew. We'll chat soon.
Thanks, guys.
Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickinson from Dubbo Regional Council.